I'm Keith Olbermann, and this is The Resistance. The Russians interfered with the election. Putin, foreign interference. This is an existential threat to the United States of America. A hacked election? Russia. Government-backed attackers. 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 And Vladimir Putin. Russian oligarchs. Putin. The Russians got who they wanted to run the United States of America for them. To our Russian enemy, Russia. Always Russia. Russia. Putin, puppet from the Russians. We are at war with Russia. Lost a war with Russia without a battle. We are no longer a sovereign nation. We are no longer a democracy. We are no longer a free people. Engineered by Russia, the Russians, using computer hacking and perhaps other means. Vladimir Putin, the Russian Federation. Scum! Russian scum! The end of the United States as an independent country. He is not a president. He is a puppet put in power by Vladimir Putin. Russia's intervention in our election. The Russians interfered with our sovereignty. Vladimir Putin's by Russia. The Russians, Putin, Vladimir Putin. Russia, Russians, the Russians who committed an act of war against us, Vladimir Putin, Russia's puppet, Russian dictator, Vladimir Putin, Russian cyber attack, Vladimir Putin, Russia, Vladimir Putin, Putin, Russia, the Russians, Vladimir Putin, Russia's hacking of the election, Putin, that Russia was hacking American computers, Russia, Vladimir Putin, Russia, Kremlin, Moscow, Vladimir Putin, Russia, Vladimir Putin, the Kremlin, Russian, Vladimir Putin, Russia, the Kremlin, Russia, the Russians, Russia, Putin, Vladimir Putin, puppet of Vladimir Putin, Russian plant, the Russian conspiracy, Russian mole, Vladimir Putin, Russian government, the Russian government, Russian hacking, Russian coordination, the Russian government, the Russian meddling, Russian interference in our presidential election of 2016, Moscow, the Russian dictator Putin, Russian dictator Putin, Russian agents, Russian cyber attack, Russian, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, Vladimir Putin, Russia. Kremlin, Moscow, Putin, the Russians, Russia, Vladimir Putin, the Russian government, the Russians, Russia, Vladimir Putin, the Russian government, Russian sabotage of the presidential election, Russian Kremlin, the Trump Putinistas, Russian oligarch, the Putin government, the Russian Federation, treason, and treason. Russia. The Kremlin, Russian interference, Russia's Moscow, Russia's Moscow's, the Russians, Russian conspiracy, the Russian Putin, influenced by a foreign power, Russian act of war, the Russian secret Russian war against this country, the Russians, Russia, Vladimir goddamned Putin, Russia, the Russians, Russian, Vladimir Putin, the Russian marionette, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, the goddamned Russians, the Russians, Russia, Kremlin, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, the Russians, Russia, Russia, the Russians, Russia, 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 the Russians, Russia, Russia, the Russians, the Russians, the Russians, the Russians, Russia, the Russians, the Russians, the Russians, the Russians, the Russians, Russia, Russians, Russian, the Russians, Russia, Russia, Russians, Russia, 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 the Russians, Russian, Russia, Russian, Moscow, Russia, the Russians, Russia, Russians, Russia, Russia, Russian, Putin, Russian, Putin, Putin, war! Russian, Russia, Russian, the Russian government. Russia, Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, Russia, 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 Russians, Russia, Russian, Russia, Russian, Russia, 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 the Russians, Russia, Russian, Russian, Russia, the Russians, the Russians, Russia, the Russians, Russia, Russia, the Russians, Russia, 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 the Russians, Russia, the Russians, Russia, Russia, Russian, Russia, the Russians, Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, Russia, Russia, borscht, Russian, Russia, Russian, Russia, Russia, Moscow, Russia, Russia, Russian, Russians, Russian, Russia, 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 Russian, 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 the Kremlin, the Russians, Russian, Russians, Russian, the Russians, Russian, Russians, Russian, 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 Putin, Russian, the Kremlin, Russians, Russian, 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 the Russians, the Kremlin, Russia, 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 Russian, 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 Russia, Russian, 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 Russia, the Kremlin, Russian, Moscow, Russia, the Russians, the Russians, Russian, the Russians, the Russians, the Kremlin, Russian, the Russians, Russia, Russian, Russia, Russian, Kremlin, Vladimir Putin, Russian, Russian, Russians, Kremlin, Russian, Russian hacking, Russia, Russia, the Russians, Russia, 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 Russian, 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 the Russian government, Russia, 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 Russian, the Russians, Russia, Russia, the Russians, Russian, Russia, 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 Russian, Russian, Russia, 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 Russian, Russia, Russia, the Russians, Russia, 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 the Russians, the Russians, the Russian government, Russia, the Russians, the Russians, Russian, Russian, the Russians, Russia, Russians, the Russians, Russia, Russia, Russian, the Russians, Russia, Russian, Russia, the Russians, the Russians, Russian, the Russians, Kremlin, Putin, Russia, the Russians, Russian, 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 Russia, Russian, Russian, Kremlin, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, the Russian state, the Russians, Russia, Russians, Kremlin, Russian, Kremlin, Russia, Russian, the Russians, Russia, Putin, Russian, Putin's Russia, the Russians, Russia, Russia, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, Vladimir Putin, Russia, Vladimir Putin, Putin's Vladimir Putin, Putin, Kremlin, Russian cyber war, the Kremlin, the Russians, Russia, Russian, the Russian government, Russian, the Russians, Russian conspiracy, the Russians, the Russian government, the Russians, the Russians, the Russians, the Russians, Russians, the Russians, the Russians, Russia, the Russians, Russian, Putin, the Russians, Russia, Russians, Russian national, Russian, the Russians, Russian, Russia, Russian, the Russians, the Russian government, Russians, the Russians, Putin, the government of Russia, Russia, the Russians, Russian troll, the Kremlin, the Russians, the Russian government, Russia, the Kremlin, Russians, Russia. It is a conspiracy. Russia, Russian, the Russians, Putin, the Russians, the Russian government, Russian Moscow, the Russians, the Kremlin, Russian, Kremlin, the Russians, Russia, the Kremlin, Moscow, the Russians, Moscow, Russian, Moscow, Russia, the Kremlin, Russian, Moscow, the Russians, Russian, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, the Kremlin, the Russian government, Russia, Putin, Russia, the Russians, Russia, the Russian government, Russia, Kremlin, Moscow, Russian conspiracy with the Russians, Russian, Vladimir Putin, the Russians, Russia. This individual is not, by any understanding any of us have had instinctually or by experience, a human being. Russia, Moscow, Putin, Russia, Vladimir Putin, Moscow, Vladimir Putin's Russian government, Russia, the Russian government, Russia, Putin, Russian, blah, 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 Russia, the Kremlin, Russia, Russian, the Russians, Putin, the Russians, the Russians, Russia, the Russians, Russian, Putin, the Russians, Russian, Moscow, Russians, the Russians, the Russians, Russia, Putin. Russia, the Russians, Russia, Putin, Russian, Vladimir Putin, Russian, Kremlin, Russian, Putin, the Russians, Putin, Russia, the Russians, Putin, the Russians, Putin, Russia, Putin's Russia, Kremlin, Russian conspiracy, Russia, Putin, Russia, the Russians, Putin, Russian, the Russians, the Russian government, the Kremlin, Russian conspiracy, Russian Moscow, Russians, the Kremlin, Russians, Putin's Kremlin, Russian troll farm, Russia, Putin, Russia, Putin, the Russians, Russia. Resist, 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 resist. That vague feeling that the idea of massive computer hacking and propaganda spreading could not really have happened because honestly, you can't really picture it in your mind how it would have happened.